Louis, I simply want to make it clear, has no concept of social separation. As a result, he rushes forward to embrace everything, especially infants younger than him. Especially when every step is being closely observed, royal protocols hardly allow for surprises. Something unexpected happened, though, during one recent appearance. In an instant, the whole affair took a different tone as all eyes were on Prince Louis. Everyone, even the king, was taken aback. Despite its lack of drama, it had an impact that went well beyond his years and was impossible to overlook. In that split second, which has everyone talking, what transpired? Come with us as we investigate the way Prince Louis's one gesture altered the trajectory of a royal appearance. Royal titles and their weight. Little Prince Louis did something nobody saw coming when he was 7 years old, and it made headlines throughout the world. His careful and dignified bow caught everyone's attention. It wasn't merely the move that stood out, but rather how effortless it appeared. His direction. King Charles stopped, too. It served as a sobering reminder that Prince Louis's title is firmly grounded in royal law, family legacy, and meticulous planning, which is surprising given his reputation as a charming and mischievous boy. Outside the hospital, the town crier announced the arrival of Prince William and Duchess Kate's third child on April 23, 2018. The announcement included his full title, Prince of His Majesty the Royal Henry, Duke of Cambridge. His father was the Duke of Cambridge back then, so that was a natural progression. This title did not come to Louis by chance, though. His appointment as prince would never have been possible under the previous system. The first regulation dates all the way back to 1917, when King George V chose to restrict the usage of royal titles. His formal decree, the Letters Patent, restricted the usage of the style, His or Her Royal Highness, to male-line descendants of monarchs. Put simply, unless they were directly descended from the throne, great-grandchildren like Prince Louis would not be eligible. The issuance of Letters Patent by Queen Elizabeth II in 2012 changed that. She made it clear that all members of the royal family, regardless of rank, would be entitled to the titles of prince or princess. Louis would not be a prince but Master Louis Cambridge if the choice had not been made. However, due to that change in the law, he was born a prince. We also took great care in selecting his name. Louis Arthur Charles is his full name. Everything is significant. Lord Louis Mountbatten is supposedly honored by Louis. She is dearly adored by Prince Philip. Among the royal family, he played a pivotal role, particularly in the life of Prince Charles. Both Prince William and King Charles have the name Arthur in their middles. Charles is an evident homage to his grandpa, the current king, and the name is traditional and associated with the British royal family. From his social status to the treatment he receives during royal visits, titles like his help establish everything. Both inside the palace and in the press. He now has a formal position within the family's hierarchy thanks to his title. It impacts his seating arrangement at events, how people address him at school or while traveling, and how he is presented overall. Even before it's introduced, a title like Prince raises expectations, whether or not the general public is aware of this. People regularly speculate about what Prince Louis might be named as he ages. The Duke of Edinburgh could be one of them. It was Prince Philip in 1947 who first received the title. In 2023, following his passing in 2021, the position was transferred to Prince Edward, but it was only for life. That implies the crown will get the title back when Edward dies. Given the title's symbolic significance and Louis's ties to Philip, the monarch might reassign it to a younger prince at that moment. The Duke of York is another title that could be bestowed upon the second son of the monarch, following ancient practice. But Prince Andrew already has that title, and it might not be renewed because of all the scandal that has surrounded him. The current monarch may appoint Louis to a new dukedom at a later date if that doesn't work. Law, pedigree, and royal strategy have influenced Prince Louis' life from the beginning, and now he has the title to boot. He was born into the weight of history, yet he carried it with more elegance than anyone expected when he bowed his head. Although Prince Edward did not lack merit, many thought the title of Duke of Edinburgh was merely transitory when bestowed upon him by King Charles, his youngest brother. But for the simple reason that there has always been more to the term than meets the eye. Furthermore, it might simply be a matter of waiting for a younger prince, such as Prince Louis, in the grand scheme of royal planning. The origin of the title can be traced back to 1726. To distinguish Prince Frederick from his numerous siblings, King George I bestowed it to him. There have been very few distributions since then. The monarch always associates it with someone he or she thinks can make a difference, both in public and in private. Duty and legacy have always been intertwined with this, but Prince Philip is responsible for making it unforgettable. He was more than just a title bearer. After becoming Duke of Edinburgh through his 1947 marriage to Princess Elizabeth, he made good use of his position. His impact on many lives was profoundly impacted by the Duke of Edinburgh's award scheme. Participating youths came from more than 130 different nations. Many of them would go on to assume leadership roles in industry, politics, or non-profits. He was an early and vocal supporter of conservation and climate awareness initiatives, and he emphasized scientific inquiry and discipline. After his death in 2021, Edward took over. He was bestowed the title as a mark of continuity on March 10, which happened to be his 59th birthday, by King Charles. The Queen's vow and Prince Philip's wish were both fulfilled. For many years, Edward and Sophie had filled in for Philip in a variety of capacities. It was merited. However, James, Edward's son, will not inherit the title as he did in the past. After Edward's death, the crown will regain control of the title. And that is when Prince Louis's life takes an intriguing turn. His future is being molded even though he is only 7 years old. Although he will not be the next in line, he will certainly grow up in the spotlight. Meaning must be infused into his future. Just as the titles of Philip and Edward before him carried significant weight, so too could the title of Duke of Edinburgh. The requirements of the title dictate this, though. It would serve as a public signal if Louis were to ever receive it. That he is becoming a part of something significantly greater than himself. Does he have what it takes to handle that kind of task? To find out, continue watching. Despite his youth, Prince Louis is an integral element of a far grander scheme than the average person would guess. His narrative encompasses a wide range of topics, including global history, royal traditions, and the contemporary definition of royalty. He came from a long line of Windsor noblemen. In 1917, when King George V formally established the royal family, George V opposed the royal family's retention of its original German name, Saxe-Coburg-Gotha, at the time when Britain was at war with Germany. Thus, he modified it. Windsor seemed more approachable and English. King George V through King Charles III have all maintained the name since then. And it has come to represent steadiness. The unity of the monarchy has been maintained by the House of Windsor through triumph, tragedy, scandal, and advancement. Prince William is the ancestor of Prince Louis, who is so directly related to the Windsor family. Williams, being the firstborn son of King Charles III and Princess Diana, represents the coming generation as well as the throne. However, he has strong emotional origins. Louis is related to the Spencers via Diana. Many look to Diana as the beating heart of the royal family during her reign because of her renown for independence and her unwavering commitment to justice. That friendliness remained after she left. William and, more recently, Louis are keeping it alive. Next, we have Catherine, who is Louis's mother. She was known just as Kate Middleton before her coronation as Princess of Wales. No one in her family had any kind of estate or title. Just like millions of other British families, they went to local schools, established a little business, and lived their lives. What Catherine brought to the royal family, though, was anything from ordinary. The key was harmony. Her demeanor is composed, her words are direct, and her displays of affection are genuine. All three of her children, but notably Louis, have her mark. On stage, they aren't contorted or fake. Pretending to be children, they are cherished. Safe and inquisitive, their dwelling is one of a kind. As the firstborn, Prince George must shoulder the responsibility of his destiny. He takes leadership seriously, stays focused, and is quickly developing his skills. Charlotte, the princess, stands between her brothers and frequently gives the impression that she is the boss. She is self-assured, steady, and swift to intervene when Louis begins to push limits. Oh, and Louis? The crazy driver. The one who always manages to make people laugh when they least expect it, dances during royal occasions, and pulls faces during parades. However, that should not be taken as an indication of ignorance. Louis is secure in his role and in his affection for others. He is not being brought up in his brother's shadow, but rather in his own unique role, alongside him. A succession of royal decrees influenced by politics, conflict, and the passage of time determined Prince Louis' title. There were long-term effects of King George V's 1917 decision to issue the letters patent. Many of Queen Elizabeth II's great-grandchildren did not immediately become royals when she had them. Archie and Lilibet, who are Prince Harry's children, were among those included. People were talking about them because they weren't on the list of titles. How come some kids got them while others didn't? Was it related to politics, race, or the order of birth? These inquiries persisted with each public appearance by the family. Her own patent would be issued at a later date. Additionally, the succession rules were being revised to recognize the equal right of daughters to the throne. The titles should be consistent with the reasoning, which made perfect sense. Thus, Prince Louis of Cambridge was remained Louis's birth name even though he was born third. Still, that's not the end of the tale. King Charles has been vocal about his desire for a more manageable royal family since ascending to the throne. It is commonly referred to as a slimmed-down monarchy. Certain titles have been delayed or not issued, and he has cut down on public-facing duties. That leaves the fate of future decisions, such the succession of royal titles for Louis's children, up in the air. The future of the monarchy and the decisions made by Charles and William will determine everything. Will be essential in the future. As soon as Prince Louis waved from the balcony of Buckingham Palace, hands covering his ears, he became an unexpected breakout star at the 2022 Platinum Jubilee. Guests were expected to pay close attention to the Queen's farewell party. Louis, however, was the showstopper as he fidgeted in his seat, made expressions, and pretended to drum along with the music. The contrast between his unvarnished reactions and the sea of stuffy suits and rehearsed looks was striking. The moment Louis's photo was shared, it went viral. He became a meme on social media, but not in an insulting way, rather, it was endearing. He was related to some people. During the lengthy public event, the monarchy appeared, for a brief moment, to be no different from any other family attempting to occupy a finicky youngster. Equally important was Catherine's reaction. Instead of losing her cool, she drew closer, calmly guided him through the situation, and remained composed. Instead of scolding, she showed compassion. Uncovering it was her goal. Her public parenting style generated news in its own right. Audiences lauded her for being kind and accommodating while still standing firm when necessary. Everyone stood out, not only Louis. It was his mother's ability to allow him be himself while yet guiding him toward practicality. There were subsequent appearances. Louis was observed smiling, shaking hands, and displaying a calmer, more pleasant side during the customary Christmas walkabout at Sandringham. Walking with his family with an air of seeming gravity, King Charles appeared intent and somewhat solemn during the coronation ceremonies. He was still fully energized. Out of the three siblings, he remains the most outgoing. It was evident that he was discovering a way to combine playfulness with his responsibilities. The character that is Louis remains apparent. His friends and acquaintances say he's energetic and full of life. His sparkling eyes bring back memories of a young Princess Diana for those who have followed the royal family for a long time. Charming, impulsive, and unpredictable in a way that makes people feel drawn in. It is impacting things. Unlike an announcement or interview, Louis brings the royal family into the modern era. Even those who would ordinarily turn a blind eye to royal happenings are tuning in to watch his every move. He connects the dots between long-standing customs and the modern desire for genuine experiences. Despite coming from a very reserved household, he keeps things natural. When that carefree attitude must mature into a duty-driven existence, though, what then? Stay tuned as we delve into the increasing expectations that Prince Louis might encounter in the future. A royal parenting renaissance. A new royal parenting handbook is being written by Prince William and Catherine, who are committing to providing their children with a normal childhood while still being emotionally open and structured. The more transparent they are about mental health, the more noticeable change they have made. William and Kate have made no secret of the fact that they prioritize mental health at home. Discussions about emotions, grief, and openness have been fostered by them. People say that in their home, feelings aren't stifled or ignored. Rather than ignoring a child's feelings, the kids talk it out, which is particularly helpful when dealing with an outspoken child like Prince Louis. Compared to the traditional, emotionally distant royal parenting style, this is a huge change. However, there are also established norms and limits in addition to the emotional closeness. In the Wales household, things aren't very free-form. Time spent in front of screens is limited, and obligations such as homework are given the serious attention they need. Even Louis, who is the most active of the siblings, adheres to the routine his parents have established. Family and friends have observed a steady equilibrium. Love is freely bestowed, but self-control is not shirked. We have witnessed Kate gently but forcefully redirect Louis whenever he has acted out in public. There is a consistent undercurrent that keeps things grounded, even though their children are permitted to be kids. An emphasis on natural light and air is an integral aspect of that building. Sports, helping out in the garden, and strolls around the countryside are common ways to see the kids. Being outside is important to William and Kate because they think it teaches their children to be resilient, calm, and appreciative of the little things in life. This method is consistent with Kate's lifelong passion for studying the development of young children and reflects her own upbringing. The level of engagement between William and Kate in their children's everyday lives is the most striking thing. They still manage to drop off and pick up their children from school, in spite of their royal duties. When their children attend school activities, they are known to blend in rather than stand out in their formal wear. There seems to be an attempt to let George, Charlotte, and Louis live their lives without being weighed down by royal formality, according to teachers and other parents. Everything here is part of their meticulous plan for maximizing their visibility in the media. The couple aggressively guards the anonymity of their children, even though official images are occasionally released, often shot by Kate herself. It is ensured that any public appearances are age and comfort appropriate, and paparazzi photographs are discouraged. Finding the right balance between protecting their children from the responsibilities of being a royal and disclosing enough to appease the public is no easy task. Meanwhile, Prince William and Catherine aren't the only royals whose parenting styles have evolved. The disparity becomes even more apparent when one looks at the genealogy of royal child-rearing practices. Many factors, including societal mores and the demands of monarchy, influence the methods used by different generations. For example, Queen Victoria established a standard of emotional detachment that would reverberate for many years. Her icy demeanor toward her 9 children was well known. Especially when it came to her sons, she comes across as cold, distant, and severe in records and letters. She had high expectations for children, who should be submissive, neat, and kept to themselves. Playing on the floor or having meaningful conversations just didn't occur to anyone. She thought kids should just be seen, not heard, and most definitely not pampered. Not much changed when her great-grandson George VI was born. Although things were still kept on the formal side. George VI and Elizabeth, who became the Queen Mother, were more affable than Victoria but otherwise stuck to more conventional royal practices. They kept a low profile in their daughter's life. Even Queen Elizabeth II used the route when she was a young mother. She frequently left her 4 children, Charles, Anne, Andrew, and Edward, for weeks or months at a period while she travelled abroad during her reign. Because of her position as monarch, she was never allowed to get too close to her subjects emotionally. This separation affected Prince Charles profoundly. Pressure and seclusion defined his formative years. Gordonstown, a boarding school notorious for its harsh discipline and frigid atmosphere, was his destination. At times, he has remarked about how emotionally neglected he was as a child. There was no room for him to show his emotions or be vulnerable due to the strict royal expectations that were around him. Those formative years were formative in a negative way. Next, Diana appeared. When it came to royal parenting, Princess Diana broke practically every rule. At social gatherings, she would kiss her sons and knee down to talk to them on their level. During their formal visits, she escorted William and Harry. An unusual thing for a mother of royal lineage to do. While she was making sure they experienced the royal lifestyle, she also enrolled them in regular schools, introduced them to fast food joints, and introduced them to charities and communities outside of the palace. The public's perception of royal parenting was influenced by her amiability, candor, and innate desire to shield her sons from the emotional emptiness she had experienced. As a result, the role of royal mothers in the future was rethought. William absorbed every word. He observed his mother's efforts to alter the narrative and his father's battles with emotional expressiveness. Now that he's a dad, he's hell-bent on improving. Combining Diana's emotional warmth with the calmness befitting a future monarch, he creates a unique blend. Publicly, he addresses issues related to mental health and speaks softly to his children. And makes it a point to be there for them. Parenting is a choice that William makes every day. Not all generations have been able to say that. However, how does Prince Louis factor into this whole picture? When comparing the parenting styles of previous royal families to those of today's, it's almost like picking up a different book. There has been a dramatic change today. George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis are frequently spotted in less formal settings. We've seen them play, bicker like brothers, laugh nervously at public gatherings, and wave with assurance. These occurrences fit into a new trend where friendliness and relatability are valued equally with etiquette. Duty above all else, is the classic adage. Growing up in a royal household, one's personality was typically groomed to take a back seat to one's position. However, the script has been revised by William and Kate. They are still preparing their children, particularly George, for responsibility, but they are also encouraging them to develop into whole people, to find their niche in the world without letting it crush them. Everyone is taking note. Many people in the past imagined the royal family as imposing figures hidden behind the palace walls. Now, nevertheless, the Wales family's prominence and humanity are major factors in the increasing fondness for them. William and Kate have refined tradition rather than abandoned it. Especially among the younger generation, the monarchy's reputation has been transformed by that delicate combination of transparency and grace. For what's to come, it's important